to the end. This is a really promising run, and I will knock on wood just in case, because we don't want to see a caution flag at this point. Several cars still on the racetrack, though, yet to pit. Stalknet, one of them. Sean Butler, another. Cosmin Yanisho, Jonathan Taylor, Dylan Poteet, others, as Butler got a little free there out of turn 4. You saw it for a moment. Dylan Poteet's got some damage. Arnold Columbia, same deal on that number 67. Meanwhile, Brian Mercurio cycling back through the field, your race leader this evening. As you can see, the darkness has fallen at Chicagoland Speedway. Mercurio now 21 seconds behind the race leader. Well, you saw in the background there, I say background, it was really the only foreground, background, whatever, but despite all of our issues this evening, we were able to get you the end of the race. Unsure as to the exact cause of what's held us back tonight, but as candid as we can be, we've got the race winner, Brian Mercurio, on the front stretch after 150 miles, winning this evening as Splash and Go Graphics 150, fittingly with the 84 of Cosmin Yanisho alongside him in the frame, and results are going to be a little bit skewed as well. Maybe they won't be. Timing and scoring kind of broke there on the last lap, but there are your unofficial race results this evening. Chase Cabry coming in second to Brian Mercurio. Pretty important, I think, that you marked the number 98 second place. He just crept into the top 20 this past week in the standings. Going to be very interesting to watch Cabry the rest of this season as he creeps further and further towards a playoff berth. Josh Chin, another third place for him. That guy is so strong. He's going to lock himself in by points, I think. But he really deserves a win here shortly. Corey Heim, fourth, has a win from Pocono 2 weeks ago. Locked into the playoffs, but bolsters his points with a fourth place effort this evening. Austin Moore, Ryan Vargas, Justin Malillo, Barrett Polhemus, Chris Wetz, and Ryan Pistana round out your top 10. I think most interesting to me, Caleb, is the fact that our 3 race winners all finished 6th or higher. 1st, 4th, and 6th between them. Mercurio now with 3 race wins in 5 races.
Yeah, and Vargas did a fantastic job tonight, especially. He was one of those guys involved in one of those earlier on incidents, got some, pretty significant rear end damage on that number 26 and limps that thing home to a top 10 finish. So great job by him. Look on to the rest of this thing. Gabe Herschel going to come home in 11th, Cody Dempster 12th, Doug Denise 13th position, Jonathan Palmieri 14th. Aiden Savitsky 15th after getting some stage points earlier. Keith Sherman in the 16th position here tonight. Leighton Sabile 17th. Evan Allen 18th. Adam Kodal coming home in the 19th position, and then rounding out your top 20 rather, is Anthony Rotolo. He comes home in the 20th position here from Chicagoland.
21st through 30th on your screen. Some highlights: Aaron Smith back in 22nd. Cosmin Yanosho, first car one lap down in 23rd. Zach Burtis back in the 26th spot. Alex Bates, 27th. Jonathan Taylor, a very off night for him down there, 28th. Same for Sean Peleg in 30th position. Your back 10, though, more highlights would be Andy Trupiano, who's in, I believe, the top 5 in standings, finishing 31st this evening. Also worth highlighting Sean Butler, who led a ton of laps to start the race off, as well as Blake Reynolds and Nate Stewart marred down the order in 38th and 39th. We do have this evening's race winner, Brian Mercurio, with us, who endured several laps under Chase from Chase Cabry. Interestingly enough, Brian, we had some broadcast issues, didn't see the whole story. Tell us what happened to car 41 this evening and how you ended up first place.
Didn't really qualify too well. Started like 8th or 10th or something, somewhere around there. Just kind of rode around the first couple laps. Knew that we'd have to pit before the stage at 40. Then we had a caution around 20 something, and knew we could kind of make it the rest of the way on the stage there. And then we had a caution, I think around lap 32 or 33, and figured they wouldn't call it early. And I didn't need the stage points. Fortunately, I have 2 wins, so don't really need the stage points necessarily. So I was gonna flip the stage, pit early, let all those guys bank the points, take the caution, and then get the track position. Took it real easy on that restart with like 2 to go or 1 to go before the end of the stage on 40. Then we were up front, and there were some interesting characters that got up front there. I understand it's one thing if you're trying a strategy and you're staying out there on old tires and everything, but it's another if you don't know how to conduct yourself up there. Be respectful of everybody. I'm not saying you have to, put it on the fence and let everybody by, but you kind of got to understand your situation. Some guys that were on older tires there, just I don't really think they knew what they were doing. So unfortunately, they caused a bunch of junk, wrecked a lot of really good cars. So I still had good competition there with Chase, Corey, Chin a little bit there too. So and then knew it was going to kind of play out there. Knew everybody still had to pit there on that last run. And with how many laps we had on our tires, and between when I was going to pit and when we came out and how much fuel we had to take, I figured 2 was the easy call. So kind of went with that. Kind of surprised nobody else did it. Honestly, it's what burned me in the championship last year, and kind of figured I would do it here. I know the next gen and the Gen 4 are a little bit different in how their tires work and everything, and how they feel, and how 2 tires can be advantageous in one car, but lefts really weren't that worn, so took 2 and just kind of had the track position over everybody.
Well, Brian, for you at this point, it's really just playoff time. Got to get focused on those last 4 races of the season. How do you do so? Especially, how do you make yourself get into that last round, the last race at Miami? How do you get through Richmond, Charlotte, Phoenix, and make sure you are there for Miami?
Probably win Charlotte, because I'm really not good at Richmond, and I'm really not good at Phoenix. So I remember even in the next gen car when we were here a few seasons ago, I think it might have been early last season. Didn't really do that good at Phoenix. Don't know if we've really ever raced Richmond in this series, so don't really have any data to go off for that, but I just personally don't like that track. So win at Charlotte, that'll be cool. Try to do that and then focus up for Homestead.
Well, Brian Mercurio, victory lane once again this evening. Well, this season, I should say, 3 times, down 5 races. Brian, we're talking to you a lot. Hopefully we'll talk to you next week in Bristol.
Thank you, guys.
R41 back to victory lane as we would expect. Caleb Hoffman getting moved around a little bit. We'll bring in Chase Cabry, who finishes 2nd place this evening. And Chase, definitely some high praises from the guy who finished ahead of you. Brian Mercurio, what was the fight like for you from your point of view this evening?
Yeah, it was good. I definitely had to stay out and get stage points because the first 2 races that I ran, I filled in for Leighton Sabile, so I didn't score points, and I didn't even really honestly know about the league, so I had a blast doing it the first 2 weeks and filling in for Leighton, and I was like, man, I want to run it. So thanks to the guys letting me come in and jump in on the action. It's a really good league. I mean, there's some really good talented guys in it, so it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I stayed out, got stage points, cycled back to the rear, got caught up in one of those wrecks, got the damage fix, and then the second big wreck definitely helped me a ton, just get some track position again, and was able to lock into about third there. And then green flag pit stops, I came down a little bit early, and Brian definitely is unbeatable, just straight up on speed. I thought maybe coming down early was going to help me with that, but he knew that 2 tires was the way to go. I didn't think so. We talked about it, but I just saw it with that many laps left that you were going to kill your tires. But Brian obviously mastered it and kicked all of our butts tonight.
Well, next up for this series, we head out to Bristol Motor Speedway in 1 week's time, and this car at that racetrack, it feels like it'd be a bottom fest, right? That's what they used to do in this car, but it's the new Bristol, so it is pretty top dominant. How do you prepare for a place like that?
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of guys running through the middle. I think it's going to be really tough to pass, and I think track position early is going to be huge just because the crashes clog the track so bad there with the inside wall. Initially you can get by it, but if you're the 5th, 6th car after the wreck has happened, they bounce back off the inside wall. So, and especially with the way these cars are, you make any contact to someone's rear bumper and it lifts the rear tires off the ground and spins them. So I think track position is going to be huge, and I think you're going to see a lot of guys through the middle. Up top, you seem to burn the right front up too much. So these guys are definitely really good, and I think it's going to be tough to pass, but it should be fun.
Well, Chase, it's good to have you here on this series. I'm glad you chose to stick around this season, rather. It's good to have the 98 car on the racetrack. Good-looking EPI logo there on the quarter panels. Hopefully we're talking to you a lot more this season as we approach the playoffs.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully I can make the playoffs. We're 2 races behind, so I think we're like 19th right now. So we'll see how this helps us, and hopefully we can sneak in. I think it's top 10. I heard it was 12. I'm not
top
sure.
12.
So. Top 12. Okay, so yeah, and then Corey getting a win, that makes it 11. So because he's way back in points because he's missed so many. So yeah, hopefully we get to 11th and go from there.
There you go. Chase Cabre, car 98 this evening, goes 2nd place ahead of the number 93, who Caleb Hoffman has the pleasure of speaking with this evening. He actually watched this guy's stream throughout the course of the race to keep updated on what was going on. And Caleb, Josh Chin is strong this season.
Absolutely, and with Josh now, and want to lead off first of all with that restart wreck lap 49 that really saw Keith Sherman come right across your nose. You got up underneath Anthony Rotolo. I mean, talk us through how you got through that big wreck.
Well, Anthony was kind of the sacrificial lamb there. I didn't really get a chance to do much to check up, and thankfully I just went under his car and never damaged the car. So I came in and probably didn't need to take the pit stop and accidentally took left sides there. Kind of put myself in the back foot, but 3rd place, still a good result out of it. Pace was probably there to try and fight for the win, but didn't have the right strategy at the end, especially with Brian taking 2 tires there. Yeah, and Brian on the 2-tire call, and you at one point got cycled back to, I believe it was 11th or 12th. Talk us through that final run, just having to crawl your way all the way back up to that top 3. Yeah, once we got to that final restart, it kind of worked out nicely where I think I was leading, but on old tires, so we kind of had some separation and some space to work with. Early on when the tires were kind of all over the place, starting back in about 11th, 12th place, the restart wrecks kind of really helped get through the field a lot quicker than I probably would have otherwise, and not getting damaged during that helped. It wasn't the race I expected. I thought I was going to be down on pace. I didn't really like the way this drove. It didn't suit what I normally do, but overall it worked out pretty well. Speed was good. Still can't quite get there to Brian, but hopefully some of the racetracks later in the season will fit. Hopefully short tracks kind of be more in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, and then did want to take a look at the point standings coming into tonight, and just because you've been here, been so consistent all season, despite Brian's now 3 wins, coming into tonight, you were the points leader, third top 5, third top 10 on the year. I mean, do you think you're close to getting that breakthrough win, or are you just trying to stress this consistency right now?
I think it's time to start going for wins. I think the points have kind of played out in a spot where I can be a little bit more aggressive as we go through the rest of the season now. Not quite, I don't think I'd say a clinch for a playoff spot as it is, but the opportunities are there. Getting stage points again tonight helped. And I think try and go for some wins in the second part of the season, especially having another road course, that's a big circle of opportunity on the calendar.
Well, that is your third place finisher, and Josh Chin, you heard it there, wants to start getting into victory lane, is going to have a few good chances coming up in the next few weeks. Congratulations on your third place finish tonight, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us here on Pit Stop TV.
Thank you, guys.
That is Joshua Chin, and back to you, Andrew.
Well, Josh Chin closes out a strong night once again, and I'm glad these drivers had strong nights on the racetrack. I can't apologize enough for the evening we've had behind the scenes. I'm really not sure what's plagued us this evening. I'm going to go to troubleshoot mode and spend the time that I have available the rest of the evening to figure it out. We do have some upcoming shows that we've got to get this fixed for. That well, if things go to schedule, this is the plan, right? The rest of the weekend, we got a lot of racing. Tomorrow night, we go out to Kern County Raceway Park. Brand new to the iRacing Sim, just dropped earlier today. We'll be going there with the bunch from RaceEPI.com. We've got super late models on the ballot, but first up, it's Dirt Legends on the mini dirt oval there at Kern County Raceway Park. Then Friday evening, it's the Barber Ford Mustang Club racing at Road Atlanta. And finally, Sunday, we go racing at Sonoma Raceway with the Noble Can-Am Series. But to be, again, entirely candid, this has been a pretty painful evening. And again, I appreciate all the support from everybody this evening. And it's part of it, unfortunately, in broadcasting. You will have those kinds of days, Caleb. But hey, we can at least look forward, and look forward we will, to Bristol Motor Speedway in 1 week, where we'll go short track racing with these Gen 4 cars. And, we did it a little bit at IRP in race number 2, but this is a real short track. The classic NASCAR short track, I feel like, at least one of, between Bristol and Martinsville. We've got Bristol on the schedule this season. Should be a lot of fun next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, a very conventional, traditional short track that we're going to. And, when you think of that classic, Gen 4 on a short track, it's that high bank, just bull ring type style. And that's exactly what Bristol's going to offer us. So it's going to be a fun one next week from Bristol.
And what's interesting is because of the multi-groove nature of that place after the repave and the reprofiling, it almost races like an intermediate. You've got multiple lanes. It's just a really tight intermediate with how fast they go through the corners and how much they search around in the corners. It's going to be a hybrid of sorts, I think, but still certainly down that same road of conventional short track, especially with how short that place is. I mean, it's half mile. The world's fastest half mile. So it'll be exciting to see how things end up going down next week at Bristol Motor Speedway. Then it's off to Interlagos in Michigan to wrap up the regular season, and we'll go racing in the playoffs from Richmond, Charlotte, Phoenix, and Miami. Thanks for sticking with us. It's been a rough night this evening, but the Splash and Go Graphics 150 was a hit on the racetrack. A big thank you to Splash and Go Graphics. Hopefully we can get more involved with them as time goes on. That'll do it for us this evening from Chicagoland Speedway. A big shout out to our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Media, SimCams, ATVO, and CC's Business. A big shout out to you, Caleb, for sticking with me throughout the course of the evening. It really is appreciated. And a nod as well to those who make it happen for us behind the scenes. In audio, ATVO, Whiplash Media, SimCams, OBS, and iRacing.com. For us all here at Pit Stop TV, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.